Well, good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this Saturday training. And my name is Roger Broberg. And, it's just a great day to be in Relive. And we're going to go over some basic things. And then we're going to maybe do some practicing on our stories. And let's see. What do I need to do here? I guess just that. So Relive International is a food science company. We've been in business for 32 years. We're in our 33rd year. The products are clinically proven and patented and backed by science and guaranteed to work. You guys were the only epigenetic food science company in the United States. And let's see. And the company has extremely strong family values and great integrity. I love this company. So Relive has your solution no matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for the products and for health benefits, the company has amazing products, and we're going to go over some of those. The compensation plan is unparalleled. I mean, it is an incredible compensation plan. And the success system to help you do whichever you want to do is already there and in place. So you are in the right place here. So let's talk a little bit about the products. You've got the core nutrition. Top two cans up there are kids products. Have all of the nutrients and stuff to bridge that gap for your kids, and you don't have to worry about whether they're getting the right nutrition with them taking that. And it has 4 extra brain foods in there for kids and their developing brains, and even adults will take that sometimes with memory issues, brain issues, anxiety, whatever. Helps out with a lot of different things. And then the bottom 3 are the core nutrition for adults. On the right is the Now with soy. The classic formula in the middle was the original formula, and the Now with whey protein on the left. So they're clinically proven formulas. It heals the body at an epigenetic level, and it's balanced nutrition, patented as a whole food. Then we have our targeted solutions. We have Fiber Store for digestive health. Has 2 different kinds of fiber in there to help not only to clean out the digestive system, but also to clean out the cardiovascular system, the blood vessels, the rest of the body. Artheffect is our joint formula, has an ingredient in there called Arthrid that has $10 million of clinical studies in Europe that shows that it helps to rebuild joints and to help to heal those joints. So Cardio Essentials is for heart health, also has clinical studies on it, shows that it lowers the risk of heart disease by, I think it's over 30%, an amazing product. Glucofect for blood sugar management helps to stabilize those blood sugars, and it's amazing because it will not only lower your blood sugar and get them into the normal range, which the clinical studies showed, but it'll also help with, if you are low blood sugar, it'll help to bring them up too. So it's pretty neat. Reverse Age does just that. It helps with the aging process. ProVantage is for lean muscles and also for nerve damage. Soy Essentials is a women's product. Helps with PMS issues and menopause issues. And Energize is for hydration. On the far end, on the right there, is 24K, has 24 different brain foods in there, helps to break that fatigue cycle and to give you that lasting, sustained energy. We also have Defense, which supports your immune system, has, I think it's 3 different ingredients in there that have over 17,000 studies on them that show that it helps to support your immune system. And LunaRich X has just 1 ingredient in there called Lunacin, but that 1 ingredient does amazing things. Helps with blood pressure, helps with cholesterol, it helps to lower inflammation, it helps to have those cells rebuild correctly. It's just an amazing ingredient, and that comes in some of our products, but it's also in this capsule form that you can add additional capsules in. And we have our RLV hemp extract line. We have both the tinctures and then also that balm. Balm is great for topical pain relief and also for skin issues and stuff like that. The tinctures you put under your tongue and they go to work very quickly. They're also eco-friendly. They've been tested multiple times. They come with a certificate of analysis in each batch. You can tell for sure that what's on the label is actually in the bottle, and you're not going to find better hemp products anywhere. So the compensation plan, let's go over that real quick. There are 5 ways to earn income. You've got retail, wholesale, overrides, bonuses and trips, and the ambassador program. And your goal is to build a distribution network if you're trying to work the business end of it. And since this is a business training, I'm assuming that everybody is working on that. And if you picture yourself in that blue box, everyone is a potential customer, friends, relatives, neighbors, people that you meet that you don't even know. So make a list and set your appointments, and it's only $20 to register. Retail profit is the first form of income. You can make between 20 and 40%. So if you picture you in that green box and you retail $100 worth of product, you make $20 to $40. Now, I'm not the brightest penny in the pocket, but when I first saw this and I knew I was going to be putting in the same amount of work to make either the 20% or the 40%, I decided to come in at that highest profit level. And so when I retail $100 worth of product, then I make $40. So you can position yourself wherever you'd like to be, but for myself, I wanted to make the most for my time. Second form of income is wholesale profit. You make between 5 and 30%. So if you picture yourself in that blue box at the highest profit or savings level at that 40%, we call that a master affiliate, and you sponsored, let's say, a 25% distributor at that quick start level, you would make the difference between your profit level and their profit level, which would be 15%. And you can see on that stair step at the 25% level, you pay $375 and you get $500 worth of product. At the master affiliate level, you pay $32.50 and you get $5,000 worth of product. Third form of income is overrides. And this is when your people that you sponsor also go to that 40% level, and the wholesale is gone, the retail is gone, but the company still pays you an override. So if on your first level, let's say you had someone named Susan, and she's at that 40% level, as the same as you are, you would make 8% on everything that Susan's group does. And then on down the line, 6, 4, 3, and 2%. So what happens if you share this with 3 people and you help them do the same? You can see the power of multiplication here, how that increases a whole bunch. So if you, like on that first level, if you had 3 distributors, they were all doing $2,000 a month, that would give you $6,000 in volume, and at 8%, that's $480. That's, you know, not a huge amount, but it's enough to keep a lot of people out of bankruptcy. But let's travel down just a little bit and go down to that 5th level. If all of those people sponsored 3 and you helped them to sponsor 3 and they were all doing $2,000 a month, that's 243 people doing $2,000 a month. That's $486,000. And at 2%, that's making you $9,720. If your organization looked like this, and some people's look like this and even better, but it all depends on how much you work and your people, and there's a lot of variables there. But on this scenario, you'd be making over $18,000 a month. That's something that caught my eye right from the beginning, and I love this compensation plan, and I'm working it to help with my retirement. So 4th form of income is cash bonuses and trips, and you can earn cash bonuses. The company has a lot of cash bonuses out there, and we'll probably go over a few of those. Upper left, you can see Robert and Lauren Laird on there. They're collecting a check, and it looks like it's for $1,700. That was a fun conference where they handed out those great big checks. Star Director bonus, you can earn that every month just for sponsoring people and for having your volume at a certain level. And the fifth form of income is the ambassador program. And with the ambassador program, there's travel, there's recognition, there's extra cash bonuses. You're basically paid to teach and train and help others. I know we have several ambassadors on the call. We've got Jennifer Eves, and I saw Robin Washington, and I'm not sure who else is on, but I know that there's several on here. Just a bunch of great people that are helping and teaching us as distributors to get to where they are. And that's the neat thing about Relive, is that we all lift each other. So let's go into the basic training just a little bit and the circle of success. The key to this is to take action now, to take it today. So there are actually six elements to this. There's identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, register and go, and then following up with those people and keeping them involved. So first, identify who you want to share with. Make a list. Think of 10 people that you might want to talk to about the products, 10 people for the business. Maybe it'll be somebody that just contacts you on the street. I was out at the bus garage doing their automotive order this week, and one of my friends out there said, "What do you have?" And they've always called it snake oil out there. They always tease me, but they said, "What do you have for someone with fibromyalgia?" And I said, "Why? Do you have somebody that has that?" And he said, "Yeah, it's my wife. She's really struggling. The doctors don't know what to do." And I told him, I said, "Let me do some research and I'll get back to you." And so I've done some research, found a good story for him, and I'm contacting him today with that. But think of those people that you know that maybe are struggling, either business prospects that maybe need some extra income, and you never know, almost everybody needs extra income, or people that need the product. So think of those people and then figure out who you're going to contact today. Maybe go over that with your upline or a sideline and figure out the best way to contact them. You can use memory joggers, your phone list, your email, people you went to high school with, people from church, professionals that you deal with, doctors, teachers, repairmen. But add to that list and add to it every day. It should be a living document. It shouldn't just be a one and done deal. You always want to be adding to that. So how many of you guys, when you think about Relive and you think about talking to people, how many of you feel like this? Or how many of you feel like this? And you just want to tell everything about this amazing company all at once. You want to just give it all to them. Well, you've got to resist that urge. And one of the things that I wanted to work on today with everybody was how to connect with people and how to share your story. As you are thinking of these people, you think about why you've thought of them, and you've got that written down, and you want to go out and connect with them. So how to do that? That's sometimes the trick on this deal, is how to do that. And let's see. I think I can unmute. Okay, maybe. I wanted to unmute everybody. So one of the best things that we have in our toolbox is our story. And that's something that I wanted to work on today with everybody. And if anybody could unmute and tell me how to unmute everybody, I would love it. because I'm not finding that anywhere on the controls. So, Robert Laird, can you unmute for a second? Ha, I've got everybody so muted they can't unmute. More. Robert's sending me a text. He won't let me. I know that. I don't know why either. Let's see. Ask to unmute. More.
There you go, Roger.
Hey, I unmuted you individually. I'm not sure. I muted everybody because the lines were kind of noisy, and now I can't unmute everybody. I don't know how to do that.
Is there a more button under participants? There's like the three dots on mine, and I think that's where it is.
There is a more button, but it gives you a thumbs up, thumbs down, a clapping, unlock, enable. It doesn't give me a unmute. Ask all to unmute. I think everybody can unmute now, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so anyway, with our stories, when you meet somebody, okay, so there we go. So when you meet somebody, I put elevator story. When you just need to have a 15-second or 30-second story, have you got anything that you use as a story when you're in that situation? Robert, I was still talking to you. Sorry, you probably remuted. And I think I lost everybody again. This is fun. Okay, let me find Robert here just a minute. There you are.
Okay.
Try it now, Robert.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. If anybody can find out how to do that, Jen, if you know how to unmute everybody, I would love that because I'm having issues here. So when you're like in an elevator or you meet somebody on the street and they say, you know, my day is really rough. My back is hurting so bad. Do you have something that you would say to that person?
It would depend on the person. If it was my back was really rough, I'd be like, oh yeah, my dad used to have a really bad back too. And then they go, oh yeah? I'm like, yeah. And then he started taking this stuff and he hasn't taken pain pills for like 8 years. And then I'd leave it at that. And if they were interested in more, I'd be like, oh yeah, we could totally get you more information, get their number, set up a time to call them, and then I'd connect them with the story.
Absolutely. You want to just give them just a little snippet. You don't want to spend half hour and tell them everything about Relive and everything. You just want to give them a snippet, see if they're interested. You pick one thing like it says here on the slide, but your goal is to set that appointment, right?
Yep.
You want to leave them wanting more.
Absolutely.
So, Jen, are you unmuted?
Sorry, I was losing connection, so I had to restart my phone.
Oh, that's fine.
I've been on my phone. I was going to go turn on the desktop. You need help unmuting everyone?
Sorry. Yeah, but while you're getting to that, you sponsored a man that was like a master at the one-liners or the elevator story. Give us an example of what Steve would do.
Yeah, he was a master. I mean, Steve went ambassador in 9 months, and he sponsored people like crazy. But he was just happy and talked to people all the time. But he just had these amazing one-liners. And Steve had life-changing results, life-saving results on Relive. So he was always talking to everyone everywhere he went. So he'd go up to someone in the store and say, hey, how are you? And whenever you say that, somebody, people always say, I'm great, how are you? And so when they said that back to him, he'd say something like, I'm pretty good for a man who's supposed to be dead. And then he'd kind of just stop. And then of course, that leaves them wondering and with questions. And so they'd ask him questions, and it would just be a way to kind of open up the conversation. And trying to think
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, he would. He was very good at just, that one quick thing, and then they would be interested in what he was saying. And this was a man that had tons of carotid artery operations before, and super high cholesterol and high blood sugars, and he was just a walking commercial for Relive. He was amazing and sponsored and helped a lot of people. So I think I have maybe unmuted everybody, I'm hoping. I'd like to have a couple of people come on and maybe practice their elevator story, if anybody would like to. Christina, you're always up for doing stuff. Can you unmute, or are you there? Hey, I think I can hear you. I can hear you great.
Yeah.
So do you have a quick story that you use?
Yes, it's normally with my asthma. So half the times, I used to go to the doctors every Christmas. It would be a great birthday present. But now I don't have to.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yes, and it would lead to why I'd have to go to the doctors.
Okay, good. So you want to just give them that little tidbit, right? Dangle that carrot out there and maybe perk their interest and talk to them. Now, these are just stories for people that you meet, people that you're maybe not going to see again.
Absolutely. Because it's kind of hedged that nobody likes going to the doctors. So that's relatable to me.
For sure. And it could be even a good friend that happens to mention something, and, you don't have a lot of time. And so you just kind of give them that, hey, I don't have to go to the doctor anymore on my birthday at Christmas time, or whatever it is. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
Go ahead. Were you going to say something else?
Oh, and if they happen to say yeah, I go to the doctors for this, I usually follow it up with, oh my gosh, that sucks. I had that, or I heard my friend had that, and that was just, she says it's the worst. And then it kind of leads to whatever story. I try to, if it's something like asthma, like me, I'll follow it up with somebody who had asthma as well. And then if it's with something I didn't have, obviously just connect them. Yeah, my friend Robert had that. And then try to do it within the 24 hours, like Tom Pinnick says. So when do you have 5 minutes today?
Awesome. Great suggestions there to make sure to get back with them quickly. You've piqued their interest. You don't want to let it go 2 weeks or a month or something, and then get back to them and say, hey, remember when I said that I don't have asthma anymore? You want to get back with them soon while it's still on their minds. Mike Greenwood, can you unmute, please?
Can you hear me, Raj?
I can hear you great. So let's say you were out for a walk and you saw somebody that was struggling a little bit walking, and maybe a person in your neighborhood or something, and they said, yeah, I just had a stroke and I can't feel the right side of my body. What would you say to them?
I think I'd just tell them, I had a stroke too, and I got on this stuff that really helped me. So
awesome. it just has to be something simple like that. You don't have to have some big spiel or anything. You just have to care about the people. You just need to talk to them. And remember, your goal is to set that appointment, to give them more information, right? We'll take one last one on the elevator story. Let's go to Robin. Robin, you're an ambassador. Let's hear some words of wisdom from you. Are you unmuted? Let's try you now. That work, Robin?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you good.
I'm sorry, Roger. Okay, you said, what would I say to someone?
Yeah, maybe what would you use as like an elevator story, quote unquote? It doesn't have to be in the elevator, but just like when you're in the grocery line or something to pique their interest.
Let's see, if I was in the grocery line to pique their interest, one is just complimenting, trying to find something to compliment the person, and whatever it could be, to try to create that connection. And like a bubbly person, I love talking with, someone who has a lot of energy and bubbly or something like that. And, just say, wow, you really have such a contagious connection. You just seem so outgoing and enjoyable. You'd be ideal person that I would love to, connect with and share my business opportunity with you. Would you be open? If I was looking for someone that maybe might have a business interest, just trying to find a connection. That's really the ideal thing for me, is how can I connect with that person, and then, get that person to open the door to, want to meet with me or something like that.
Wow, that is awesome. And there you go, folks. That's why she is an ambassador. And she's thinking business. She's thinking, wow, this person is bubbly. She would be great in my business. And, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but that's the direction that she's looking. And, I think that's very telling, Robin, and why you are so successful. So thank you so much for sharing. I almost feel like ending the training there. That was awesome. Thank you. So let's go to this next slide. Okay, so you've made the appointment. You want to share the Relive story with these people. You want to share your why, your belief, your heart. Think back to when you first started Relive and go back to that point where this has changed your life dramatically. And that's where your heart is. That's where you find that emotion and that passion. And you want to share the whole story. You want to share about the products. You want to share about the business, even about the Clogers Foundation. You've got all sorts of tools available. But one of the main things you want to do as you share the Relive story is you want to connect them with Relive stories. Okay, again, stories are the best tool in your toolkit. And I want to go to a question that was in the chat. April, this is a super good question. Are you unmuted? Can you come on and ask that live? Let's see if I can find you and unmute you. Are you there, April? Try it now.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. Yep, I can hear you
Okay.
now. So ask your question live, because that is a super good question.
So when I try to do an elevator little tidbit or whatever, or I engage them and they're saying they have this various complaint, whatever it is, oh my goodness, you need to talk to my friend. She had this same thing, and they're like kind of like, I could see them in their mind just backpedaling. They're like, yeah, it's okay. And I'm like, no, really, it's no trouble. And they'd be happy to talk to you. Well, you talk to them and then get back to me and tell me what they said. I mean, they absolutely do not want to talk to anyone. It just like freaks them out, the possibility of even talking to somebody, because it seems like in our society, it's just, that's an unnatural thing to do. People text, people don't call, people don't want to talk to someone they don't know, and I've just not really seen a lot of great results of knowing how to push through that. The only time that worked successfully was one time when I was talking to someone about some significant problems her husband had. I think it was with lupus. And I said, oh my gosh, you need to talk to my friend right now. And so I quickly dialed in Quila's number because I was sitting on the couch talking to her. She was like a friend of my daughter's. And before I could see her mouth opening like she was going to protest. And I'm like, oh, no, I'll get her on the phone right now. And so I kind of busted through that by hoping that I could get a hold of Quila, which thankfully I did, and it was very successful. But there's a lot of situations you can't just do that. You don't know someone off the top of the head that had that situation or that condition. You don't know if they're available. And so I'm just curious as how people get individuals saying, oh, sure, I'd be happy to learn from your friend. I just don't see that happening in how I've done it. Maybe there's something I'm not doing exactly right.
Okay, so I love your question, and I think that it's a very valid question. And I've got a secret that I will tell you, but I want to let's go out to one of the ambassadors that's on the call and have her give us her opinion. Jennifer,
Yeah.
come on the call and tell me what you would say.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay. Well, I like to approach it a little bit different as I'm talking to someone. I don't always say, let me have you meet my friend. I usually say, I'm sorry you're having headaches, or that's horrible that you're dealing with lupus or whatever. I have some information. I'd love to get back to you. Sometimes I'll say, hey, my friend had migraines. Let me gather some information and get back to you with what she did. So I like to use the word information. Most people aren't afraid of that. Like you said, it's different to connect someone with a story. And then when I call back, I say, hey, so-and-so, I told you I would research this a little bit, get some information for migraines or lupus or whatever. Do you have a minute? I'm just calling you back with that info. And then it's a story. So, then if they say sure, then I just say, oh, great. I have my friend on the phone. She had migraines for 25 years or whatever. And I thought I'm going to have her share with you what she did. So
you already have her on the line.
I do. Yeah. Because I've told them that I'll call them back with info, and and I'll sometimes say that, this is the best information that I can share is what my friend did to get results. And then, just introduce them. And I really don't have people say no if I do it that way.
No, the thing that I've also found is when I have tried to do it that way, people kind of like they're taken back, like, whoa, like you didn't ask me if I want to talk to somebody. And that's kind of, sometimes they can relax after they start talking to someone. But if I've said, oh, let me see what they did, I'll get back to you, I'll get you some more information, then it also feels kind of a little disingenuous when it turns out, oh, I kind of knew all along. It's this business that I have and these great products that work. Kind of people feel like, well, I kind of feel like people kind of feel like I wasn't being upfront with them. Like I really knew all along what it was. I could have told them in the beginning, it's for a business. And then they're just like, then it feels like they perceive it as two for me, one for them, which I don't want to come across that way, because we all know if we benefit, that's great, but the biggest benefit is helping other people get success. But the lens through which most people I've talked to view it is, oh, it's all about you and your business, and yeah, you want to sell me stuff. And why didn't you say that from the beginning, making it sound like you had to do some research about it?
So this is what I would do, and I do almost the same thing that Jen does, is I tell them, hey, my company has some amazing products. Would you mind if I did some research for you and see if I can find out if we have anything that helps with headaches. Would that be okay if I got back to you with some information? And I've never had anybody say, no, I don't want you to do some research for me. People are not afraid of information or research. And then there again, when I call back, I tell them I've got some information for you. I'm super excited. In fact, I found this person that has migraines, and we're able to pick their brain and find out what they did. I'd like to introduce you to them. And, you know, if you have a positive attitude about it, I've never had a problem that way. The only time that I have a problem is if I let that doubt come into my mind, and then that comes over somehow, subconsciously or something. If I have that doubt, because sometimes our own fears come over in what we're saying. So just be positive. When you were brand new as a distributor, you didn't know anything about, you know, whether our products would help with migraines. You were calling your upline saying, hey, will these products help with migraines? And that's the best way to be, is to be stupid and on fire. I mean, you know, not knowing anything and just basically play dumb, get that information to them as a story. And that story, I would have them on the phone with you when you call the person, because if you call the person and say, hey, Margaret, I found out some information. My friend has had migraines. Would it be okay if I dial her on? You're back to square one. You're back to the thing that, you're back to the same thing again of, no, I don't want to talk to somebody. But if your information or your research is that story, then it's right there and you're giving it to them. And, you know, they can feel the passion and they can feel the genuineness of that person. So,
That's
see.
helpful. Thank you so much. I liked how you said, you know, you mentioned right up front my company. So then I don't feel like I'm hiding anything. They don't feel like all of a sudden I slip in after I've had this other call. Oh, by the way, this is with the company I'm with. It's like, really, you know. So if you just put it out there from the beginning, then everyone feels like you're on the up and up, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to. I mean, you're not trying to lie to them or whatever, but you're trying to see if you can get the information that they need, which is that story. I mean, they need to
Right.
hear the heart of somebody that has that. So,
Right.
but that story that you share on that call, okay, so say you call somebody with a migraine story, or maybe you needed to call somebody and find somebody that has scleroderma and you reached out to me. That story has to be crisp and it has to be sharp. If you are a carpenter or a home builder and you have a saw that's not sharp, you're not going to build a very good house, or your cut on the board isn't going to be very straight, or whatever it might be. Same with your story. You've got to sharpen that story and you've got to keep it sharp. And I was on a call the other day that the stories, some of them were good, some of them were within the 1 to 2 minutes that they were supposed to take, and some of them went really long. And I'll be real honest, you guys, sometimes people that have been in Relive longer, it's hard for them to whittle their story down, but you need to pick one thing or two things, you know, pick and choose. Don't try and tell your whole life story. And so let's move to this next thing, and I've got to get rid of some of these squares that are up so I can see what we're doing. So in a presentation, whether it's a live Tuesday night or whether it's you're doing a Zoom presentation for somebody individually, or it's the regular webinar on Tuesday or Wednesday, you want your story to be short, concise, to 1 minute. If they want you to do health and business, you know, maybe 2 minutes. But here are some things that you maybe ought to include: your name, where you're from, your occupation. Sometimes people can relate when it's an occupation. I'm an RN. I've been a NICU nurse or whatever. But you want to keep it short and what it was like before Relive, and the majority of the time you want to spend on what it was like after Relive. And you can give some of your before as part of your results. Like sometimes when I share Christy's story, I'll say, it didn't hurt to touch or pinch the skin in those areas. Well, I didn't say anything about that in the beginning, saying, yeah, it hurt to touch or pinch the skin. But when I said it didn't hurt to touch or pinch the skin anymore after Relive, you know that happened before, right? So you can infer things in your results and condense things down. I'd like to see if there is anybody that would like to come on and share a 1-minute story. I should have figured out how to put a timer on the screen here, but I don't have that figured out. If nobody volunteers, I'm going to call on Luann. Luann, let's see if you can unmute.
Can you hear me, Roger?
I can hear you great. How's that for volunteering you?
Yes, yes, that was a great volunteer, Roger. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, a lot of times for sure. I mean, like you said, been in Relive over 14 years. We keep getting results, and you have to think about this. But usually, my main story is when I drank my first shake, I had no idea I would avoid surgery with degenerative disc disease. I had a lot of muscle, bone, and joint problems. Now my osteoporosis has improved, feeling returned to my fingers and my thumb, and I don't have those issues anymore.
Awesome. Do you know what? That was 15 seconds, Luann. That's incredible. See how powerful that was? You guys, when they do TV commercials, they're either 15 seconds or 30 seconds. If you go on for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, you're going to lose people. I was on a call, like I said the other day, and it was actually an ambassador that went on for like 5 minutes with their story. You guys, you can't do that. You have to have it short, concise. Pick 1 or 2 things, 3 things that you want to hit or bullet point so that it's short and concise, like what Luann just did. Amazing story, Luann. Thank you so much.
Roger, I was just thinking, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Thinking about that one-liner that you were talking about. And one of the things that has always caught attention is not my story, but my mom. A lot of times I would say, my mother didn't live the life my dad died from.
Wow. And that's powerful. I mean, that's powerful because, they can actually paint that picture in their mind when you say that. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. And that's kind of what we're doing, is we're painting a picture of what our life was before Relive and what it's like afterwards. I'd like to go out to Dr. Ivy out in California. Ivy, can you unmute?
Okay, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me, Roger?
I can hear you. That's
Okay.
awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Sure.
Ivy, would you give us your 1-minute story? I know you have a very large story,
Sure.
and it's probably tough to get it in 1 minute, but I have confidence in you.
Well, I'm Dr. Ivy Fisher. I am from the Bay Area and near San Francisco. I'm a pediatrician for 41 years. I still practice part-time. And before Relive, I was very tired. I had a lot of infections. I had a lot of weight gain, and I was miserable. I was on 10 medications and insulin, and I just didn't know where my next move was going to be. And I was full-time practice then. And when I started Relive 14 years ago, a friend cared enough about me to share. At that point, I lost 30 pounds and then went on to lose 106. That really helped my diabetes in a great way. I was able to come off 10 meds and insulin with my doctor. And I am uterine cancer survivor for 11 years, and I am really grateful to Relive for the friend that cared about me.
Wow. 44 seconds. And you guys think about all of the information that she had in there. It was short, it was concise. The majority of the time she spent was what it was like after Relive. And she wove in those things that she was dealing with before in her results.
In the post, yeah.
Fantastic job, Ivy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to practice? Don't make me pick on you. Okay, here comes the romper room mirror. Karen Zaya. How about now?
Why did I know I was next?
Yep. Give us your 1 minute story there, Karen.
This has been really good. My name is Karen Zaya, and I live in Lakeshore, Utah. By trade, I'm an RN. I was a labor and delivery nurse for 10 years. My story is that I got really sick and ended up on the couch, and I was there all the time in pain. I did a lot to come back from that, but what really helped me with my pain and my energy and my function of my joints again was Relive. I could not function to take care of my family the way I do today, and even ride in the car for more than an hour if it wasn't for Relive.
Awesome. You were 45 seconds on that, Karen. That's great. I mean, that's what you need to do. And my wife just brought me a note and said it's important to sharpen your story with somebody else and with, or even just timing it yourself. You can record it yourself and then cut out the fluff, cut out the things that you don't really need in there to get your story down under that 1 minute. She gave an example, my wife did, of a girl that her name was Alexa, and she was speaking in church, and she thought she had only spoke for 15 minutes when actually she had spoken for 45 minutes. And you guys, if you use like a timer on your phone or on the wall or whatever, that'll really help you to trim that down. Work with your upline to trim down your story or to know what to say. I mean, I've been in Relive for 14 years, and I went to Jennifer the other day and said, help me with my business story. And it's always good to get input from somebody else. Yes, Christina, my wife is a smart lady. Of course she is. She married me, right? Anybody else like to practice today? You probably can't unmute. Somehow I've messed that up so that people can't unmute. If anybody would like to, I'm unmuting a couple of people. Oh, I know where the romper room mirror is going to fall. Brenda Louder. Can you unmute and come on? Brenda, are you there? Okay, Brenda must be having trouble unmuting. So we're going to go to one more story. Louise Cole. Oops, wait a minute. My microphone was not working when I tried to talk earlier. Louise, are you there? And I love this, that this is just not letting me unmute people. I'm going to go back to Brenda and see if...
Hey, Roger.
Brenda, can you talk? Is this Richard?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Richard, let's hear your 1 minute story. That'd be great.
Sure. Hello, my name is Richard Vance from Clayton, California. I'm a retired technology manager. And I've always been that healthy guy. I just don't get sick. But I do have a family history of heart disease. And my doctor, after a physical, suggested that I start taking a statin. Not because my cholesterol was really high, but she just wanted to make sure that I didn't have the problems that my dad and my grandfather had. I didn't really want to do that. And Relive had just come out with a product specifically for heart health. I began using that product and saw a 50-point reduction in my LDL cholesterol. Not long after that, we came out with that Luna Rich product. I dropped another 30 points. So I'm still that healthy guy. And now my cholesterol is a lot lower with Relive products.
Wow. Okay, so that was about 47 seconds. And you guys, I know Richard Vance has tons of results. Richard, you've been on product for what, 18 years, 20 years?
Actually, it's funny. When I started dating Linda, it was one of the first things she did was put me on these products. And her comment to me was, I want you around for a long, long time.
So how long have you been on?
So about 21 years.
Okay, so 21 years. You guys, I know his story is huge, but did you see how he picked out the cholesterol and he kind of focused on that and told a little bit about that? That is awesome. Thank you so much, Richard, for sharing and giving us that example. You guys, our stories are the most important tool that we have. So hone those stories. When we used to do Saturday training live, and I thought about finding the old slide that we used from the slide projector that talked about doing stories. Our stories are so important. We used to practice our stories every week in Saturday training, because as you're talking to people, you want to be concise and you want to get to the point, and you don't want to lose them, but you want them to be powerful even though they're short, just like these examples have been. And I really appreciate everybody that's come on. What great examples of your Relive stories. Thank you so much. So after you finish your presentation, it's important to ask for a decision. I always like to use the example, if you went into Baskin Robbins and they have all of those 31 flavors and you were to taste a few of those flavors and then you kind of feel like you want to maybe have Rocky Road or whatever it is, and the salesman just walks away and he never asks you what you want to do. You'd be standing there going, that's the one I wanted. You guys, you got to ask that question. They know you're going to ask the question. You're not offending anybody by asking that question. Ask for that decision. You know, what did you think? What part of this did you like the best? Where would you like to get started? You know, whatever question you feel comfortable with, but you have to ask that question. You know, if they're hesitant and they don't know where to come in at as far as discount or profit level, then go back and review that comp plan again. If they're looking at the business, go back and review that comp plan again. Help them to make that good decision. Let's see. And as we always show the two most popular options, you know, the quick start level, 25% savings or profit level, you pay $375 for $500 worth of product. I always like to say that $375 first, because that very first number that you say is going to stick in their mind. So you pay $375 and you get $500 worth of product, and they're going, wow, only $375. But if you were to say you make a $500 order and you get 25% off and it's $375, you know, they're thinking $500. That's what sticks in their brain. You get free shipping on that first order. So with that free shipping, you're over $150 in savings on that. Or the master affiliate level, 35 to 40% savings or profit level for the rest of your life. You pay $32.50. Again, there's that first number rather than the second. You pay $32.50 for $5,000 worth of product. You get free shipping on that first order. And if you were to share that entire order and retail that, you would make $17.50, which is a 54% return on investment. It's a tax write-off, and it's the highest savings or profit level for a lifetime. And you have that 1 year, 100% guarantee on anything unopened. You guys, that's one of the things that just really hooked me on this deal, was that I knew that if I wanted to quit, or if it didn't work with my daughter Christy with her autoimmune disease, I could send back anything that was unopened and get my money back. And I was using the product for the very best price. So register and go. Be prepared, you guys, to be able to sign them up either on your website or at relive.com or on paper, or even call in to Relive. There's so many ways that you can do this. But be ready to do it, and then follow up with them. Keep it simple. Did you take your shake today? Are you being consistent? And what results are you seeing so far? All of those kinds of things that you want to follow up with the people on. And if they want to become distributors, help them to build a list, get them connected to people, help to build their story bank. And as you're doing that, I think it's important that when you connect them up with people, to help validate what they've got going. I did a call with Tammy Martineau here, I don't know, it was a week or two ago, and her distributor was getting results already with not having digestive issues and diarrhea and stuff. And I was going, wow, I need to connect her up to somebody that I'm working for. You know, validate that story that they're giving back to you as you're sharing your story with them, and build them up and build up the distributor that got you on the phone, and help them to be that expert with their customer and their distributor. Develop positive daily habits. So we all have the same 24 hours in the day, and how are we managing our time? Set daily goals using the 5 fundamentals. The best way to improve yourself and your confidence is by doing things daily, and prioritize your most 5 important things to do, and do them first. Ooh, we're running short on time. So the Relive system, I think we all know that. Expose people to stories, help to build their wall of belief. And you know, I was going to say this earlier, and I feel like I really need to now. If you were going to court and you were going to convince the judge or the jury of something, as an attorney, you could not go in there and just tell what happened, tell the story of what happened, tell somebody else's happening, that they got attacked and this happened and that happened. You would bring in people to share their testimony and give evidence, and that helps the jury or the judge to understand the story and the results and the crime or whatever, but you have that testimony of others that testifies to that. And it's the same with Relive. We need to build their wall of belief by exposing them to other people's stories. We cannot just tell it to them ourselves. They have to hear that evidence from other people. The success system includes your upline. Use them every day. 3-way calls, weekly conference calls, Saturday training like we're doing today, special events, conferences. All of these things are incredible things to use. Be familiar with the promotions that are going on. They've changed the promo 1, 2, 3 just a little bit. Be familiar with the changes on that and the other promotions that are happening, like the top 3 bonus. Preferred customers join free again this month. Promo 1, 2, 3, you get $100 product credit when you maintain 5 customers per month. And those 5 customers are doing minimum orders of 100. per month, or you can get 200 product credit if you maintain 10 customers. Promo 2 gives you a $250 bonus when you have 3 quick starts that you sponsor that month, or you get an extra $250 when you sponsor a master affiliate. There are some calls that you might want to pay attention to and plug into. Commit to Success on Monday. We have our Wednesday webinar this week. Jen, if you could unmute and tell us who is doing the webinar on Wednesday. Then there's also the short and sweet call on Thursday. And Jen probably can't unmute. I'm going to try and unmute her. There you are, Jen. Then you've got the short and sweet call on Thursday, and that's at 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. Great call. It's 15 minutes of awesome, you guys. And then back for Saturday training the following week. So your equation for success is consistency, take action every day, be persistent. You can make money or excuses, but not both, and be determined to achieve your goals. Success is what you'll get out of all of this. Make a long-term commitment to yourself. A lot of times you think that success is just this straight, easy line, and it's probably looks more like this. So call to action today, identify 3 new people to talk to, connect to them, set appointments, and follow up with your people. And I want to end with this quote by Walt Disney. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And I really believe that. It takes courage to do this. It takes effort. It takes work. But it's one of the most fun things that I've ever done, and one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done. So thank you for plugging into training today. I'm going to stop the recording.